Have you ever kept an art journal? I haven't and always wanted to, so let's see how that goes. Hi everyone, it's Myriam with a Y. ARTEZA asked me if I'd like to try some more of their products, so I thought trying a journal-like watercolor book might be interesting because it would give me a chance to try two things pretty alien to me: art journaling and watercolors. Well, in a way. Since I'm used to colored pencils, I wondered if starting with watercolor pencils might be a little less scary. They seem like fun. Let's see if they are. Keep in mind that though ARTEZA sent me the products, I am not paid, nor would I accept to be paid to say anything. My opinions are always my own. I will not say good things about a product unless it was true for me, and I will not leave out problems I might run into. So first up, the pencils. This is a set of 72 pencils. They are branded Expert, which is ARTEZA's artist grade line of products, as opposed to their premium line, which is like a step down. The set comes in a metal tin, which I kind of appreciate because it makes it convenient to store the pencils, and they don't kind of shake around in the tin either. The colors are listed on the back, as is pretty common with ARTEZA's cases in general. The tin's cover is hinged, and inside we find trays. Now, I realize that the notches in the trays are supposed to make it easy to lift them out of the tin, but I couldn't manage to do it, so I pretty much squeeze a finger underneath each tray to lift them out. I'm going to add some tape handles to the edges instead to help with the removal of the trays in the future because the notches, yeah, they don't work for me. The color selection is ample, and if they end up being at all close to the outer shell of the pencils, these colors should be lots of fun. By the way, I'm going to reorganize the pencils in a way that makes sense to me. I'm sure there's a reason for the way pencil companies sort their colors when they ship them out, but I have never understood it, and yeah, I always end up redoing it. When looking at an individual pencil, on one side we see the ARTEZA name and a little paintbrush symbol. That paintbrush is a universal symbol letting you know that the item in question is water soluble. On another side, we see the color name and number, as well as a light fastness rating. Logic dictates that 1+ must be the most light fast and 4+ must be the worst. And the reason that I'm assuming this is that colors with 1+ in this set are neutrals like grays and browns. And those pigments are always the most light fast, like across mediums. And the colors with higher numbers in this set are like pinks and reds and some blues. And those are notoriously less light fast. So I'm going with 1 must be more light fast and 3 and 4 must be less light fast. The pencils are hexagonal in shape, so they won't roll off your work surface, which is pretty cool. Now for what I'll draw or paint in. It's kind of both, I guess. Yeah, because these are pencils that turn into paint, so I kind of, And for that, I received 2 books. Each has 68 pages, so 34 sheets. The format of this particular book is square, at 8¼ inches square or 21 centimeters. The paper is cold pressed, meaning it has some texture. The pages have the texture on one side, but are smooth on the other. I'm not super familiar with watercolor stuff, but I had always assumed it would be textured on both sides. But here it's textured on one side and smooth on the other, so more like hot pressed. The paper is 110 pounds. It's a bit thin for traditional watercolor work, but since I'm working with watercolor pencils, I'm thinking it should be okay because I don't anticipate adding a lot of water. The book permits me to open pages flat. So if I want to paint a 2-page spread, that should be possible. Yeah, not today because I gotta walk before I can run. So 1 page is probably all I can manage. Okay, no, let's be honest. I gotta crawl before I can even get up to walk. So yeah, 1 page is probably all I can manage for my first outing. Now that we've been introduced, let's play with these products. Okay, let's do this. My first step for this is making myself a bit of a sketch. I'm going with flowers and leaves because it'll give me a chance to play with several colors and I don't have to focus on being realistic. The plan is random flower shapes. You know, blobs that look like flowers. Once that's done, I start coloring my first flower. At this point, I have no idea how much color to put down. So after putting just a bit of color, I pull out a water brush and start activating the pencil. So pretty much turning it into watercolor. I saw the color dissolving as it should, but honestly, I was underwhelmed. I'd picked too bland of a color. So with the water brush, I took some color straight from a brighter pencil and added a little more pop to the center of the flower. And then I decided to add another layer of pencil on top of the entire flower to liven up the color. And then at this point, I also decided I wanted to work with a different paintbrush. Something with short bristles that I would just dip in water myself because I felt I needed more control for my first time. The water brush, it kind of, if you squeeze it, you could get more water to come out, but I was afraid of flooding the paper and I just wanted to have like a little tiny brush with just a small amount of water as I needed it. So I decided to go with this brush. And now that I was working with brighter colors, I was really starting to see the fun of the colors coming alive with the water. I think that when I become more comfortable with this medium, I'll likely color in the whole piece and then activate it with water. But for now, I'm doing it in sections. As I get a feel for layering colors, for blending them, doing some shading, that sort of thing. There are quite a few greens to play with in this set, so I'm having fun combining them. Periodically, I stop, I activate everything with water, and then go back with adding color with the pencils again. I was really happy to see how easily the colors dissolved. I was able to completely eliminate any pencil strokes if I wanted, or leave some behind for texture, which I did a lot. The paper absorbed the water well, and at this point really showed no signs of warping. What I was starting to learn at this point was to start adding water away from the main block of color that I'd drawn if I wanted a nice fade or a gradient, like on the individual petals on the pink flower all the way on the far right. Another tip that I picked up while practicing on this piece was that I had better results activating the pencil strokes that I had lightly or softly applied to the paper than I would have on strokes where I had pressed really hard with the pencil. Those were harder to sort of dissolve. So what I started to do was use that to my advantage. So I would press harder on things like stems for the leaves where I would want bits of the pencil strokes to show. I was having a lot of fun at this point. I wasn't creating a masterpiece because some of these flowers are totally wonky looking, but I am discovering a new medium and that is super exciting. Next step, some new colors. Time to add some blues and purples. For the blue, I'm making up some sort of, I don't know, grape hyacinth looking flower. I highly suggest having reference photos nearby if you're going to draw something. It would really have helped if I'd done that, but alas, I did not. So some of these flowers are, shall we say, imaginary. Yeah, that's it, imaginary. After some more leaf work, I chose a couple of violet-looking pencils to bring some purple into this. But as beautiful as the colors were, once activated, they were more pink than I was expecting. I had put off swatching all the colors because I was like a kid at Christmas and I just wanted to play when I got these. So I kind of was surprised by some colors. So not so much with the purple just yet. To help out a tiny bit on that front, I layered a little indigo on top of the pink, but I can go full-on purple on the last flower. So like I said, I decided to make this last flower the purple one. And I pulled out some definite purple pencils and started to color. And things started out just fine with this, I don't know, rose-like bloom. I liked the shape and the overall layout of it, and I really should have left it alone, but then I started messing with it, trying to enlarge it, and yeah, things kind of went south pretty quickly. And the next thing I knew, I didn't like it at all. So I had to do some camouflaging to help a little. But remember, it's just a practice piece. So boo-boos are okay. Just laugh them off and move on, which I really had to do. Tell me in the comments about your watercolor experience or any new mediums you're exploring these days. What would you like to learn more about? I would love to know. So now we're in the home stretch, just finishing up some details, adding some punch to the colors as needed, cleaning up some inactivated pencil strokes, that sort of thing. I think these pencils are fun. They're easy to use, colorful, and versatile. You can use them as watercolor if you like, as just colored pencils, or any combination thereof. I think they would make a wonderfully portable medium. You could grab a few pencils, a paintbrush, and your journal or other paper, and with just a tiny bit of water, you could make art almost anywhere with very little fuss. If you would like to start a journal of your own, or you just want a watercolor book or paper, or you want to try out the watercolor pencils, which are really, really reasonably priced, by the way, or anything else on ARTEZA's website, they have provided us with a 10% off total purchase coupon code that's good until April 19th, 2020. It's good for both arteza.com and arteza.co.uk. Shipping for any purchase is free to the US and UK. You'll find the code and links you'll need in the description box below this video Just scroll down below the video and click on Show More, I think, for most devices. I hope you had fun learning about these products if they were new to you, or maybe you had fun watching me figure them out. I pray that you are all safe and healthy. Art is a wonderful stress reliever, especially making art. So let your creative natures shine during this time. See you soon. Bye now.